basketball tournament down in Lincoln. We'll tell you about the winners and the losers, and the Big Ten Conference men's basketball tournament got underway yesterday in Indianapolis, plus some more NFL moves we'll be talking about here this morning as we welcome in Tyson Evronic from the Western Studios. Good morning.
And a good morning to you, Mike, as we get going. And, might even touch upon some more free agency news as the NFL continues to get crazier and crazier. Cooper Kupp yesterday from the LA Rams given his walking papers. So some more receivers now hitting the free agency pool. Like I said, a wild offseason here if you're a wide receiver guru, and certainly a lot of teams with opportunities to add some weapons. So looking forward to the continued craziness going on in the NFL right now.
So, some interesting moves yesterday. Aaron Rodgers officially released by the New York Giants. That was as expected. We've heard that for the past couple of weeks. So, for the first time in his career, Aaron Rodgers is a free agent, and right now he's permitted to sign with any team. And right now, the New York Giants and the Pittsburgh Steelers are showing the most interest in the four-time MVP. So Aaron Rodgers, if he elects to continue his playing career, it will be seeking some new opportunities in the National Football League. Again,
I saw a wonderful meme yesterday on social media. It was for Pittsburgh Steelers fans, and it basically had one door was Russell Wilson and one door was Aaron Rodgers, and they both led to a 500 season.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, I know we've got some in the lobby. If you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, are you excited about your opportunities at quarterback right now?
Can't be. Just can't be. And you let Fields go, and Fields goes to the New York Jets.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough. I don't know. Maybe I put the eyeball test on her here as we turn down the phone. There we go. I put the eyeball test on it. It just doesn't look like, both are aging, declining quarterbacks in terms of skills, and I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, you got to get somebody younger.
You got to get somebody in there.
Just got to get somebody in there, period.
Who's the Steelers guy right now?
Isn't it still Russ?
Is he still there?
Yeah.
All right.
I think it's still Russ. Because they had the Russ and they had the Justin Fields debacle, and it seemed like Fields would have been the most obvious choice. And then they let Fields go. And Dorf says, absolutely not, Mike. Not excited about what's going on in the quarterback situation.
I knew he'd be the first to chime in. Our big Steelers fan. Anyway, Aaron Rodgers
met with the Browns yesterday, apparently.
Yeah, the Browns.
Oh, boy.
So anyway, we got some free agency type news coming up we'll discuss here throughout the hour. If you'd like to join us, 402-834-1330 is our telephone number, 402-834-1330. Anything we're discussing or anything on your mind, sports-related or not, give us a shout-out. We'll talk about it here on Extreme Sports here for this Thursday morning. Or if you'd like to drop us a message, you can do that as well on all of our social media sites. Tyson monitoring all the comments coming in here this morning. We had basketball yesterday. They had the state tournament down in Lincoln, and Doniphan Trumbull, they pick up their first win in the state tournament since 2014 as they beat Ogallala yesterday by a score of 57-45. Ogallala was playing without their number one scorer and maybe the best player in Class C1. Evidently, he injured his ankle in the last practice before they took off for the state tournament out in Ogallala. He injured his ankle, and he was going to try to play yesterday, and came out in the warm-ups. And you know how the coaches give you the starting lineups, and you think they're fibbing all the time? Well, they gave us the starting lineups. He says, oh, by the way, this guy might not play today. If he can't play, then it'll be this guy. It was one of those game-time decisions. Well, this guy went through the workouts right before the game, and all of a sudden they decided, nope, he's not ready to play. So their best player did not play yesterday. Doniphan Trumbull took advantage of that. They got off to a hot start yesterday, jumped out to an 8-0 lead, and Doniphan Trumbull goes on to win by the score of 56-45 over Ogallala. So the Indians, they suffer only their second loss of the season. They lost to Cozad toward the tail end of the season, and they lose to Doniphan Trumbull. Their season is over, and now the Cardinals will move on, play in the semifinals in Class C1. They'll take on Omaha Concordia.
Yeah, and tough break, obviously, for Ogallala when you have a stud player like that go down right before the state basketball tournament, and it was innocently enough in just a shoot-around. There were reports like maybe the foot got stepped on as he was going up for a layup, but yeah, tough break for the Indians for sure. But, also on the other hand, DT still had to take care of business. DT still had to knock down the shots. DT still had to play a complete basketball game, and they did, and they were in control. And you mentioned the hot start. I mean, boy, Parker Volk shooting from 3-point land like he did yesterday was just really impressive. And to just see how they were able to get their lead and then just hold them off and play a good style of basketball. So sky's the limit now. Omaha Concordia is going to be a very tough opponent in the semifinal round. They're out of the Centennial Conference and always provide some good challenges, very well coached, and play a good physical brand of defense. So it'll be interesting to see how the Cardinals can respond and if they can pick up win number 2. I guess the message, if you're a DT fan right now, is that can't be your state championship. Getting the first one in, what'd you say, 14 years?
2014.
2014, getting the first one, that can't be the destination. That can't be the end goal. Now you got to continue to want it. I mean, you pick up one, and you got to be able to go for it. You can't have that win and that elation and that feeling be your state title. Just getting the one. Go get 2. Go get Concordia. Put a good game plan together, and we'll see what happens.
Pompey, 23 points yesterday, had 4 3-pointers. Parker Volk, he finishes with 20 points. He had 4 3-pointers. He had 18 in the first half yesterday with the 4 3-pointers. They shut him down in the second half, but then Jack Poppy, he got started. He had a great second half, and those two guys propelled Doniphan Trumbull to the win, much like they have all season long. Only 2 other guys scored for Doniphan Trumbull yesterday. Tyson Bennett had 10 points. Luke Askey had 4. Doniphan Trumbull hitting 42% from the field. They were 37% from three-point territory, and they knocked down all 13 of their free throws. They were 13 out of 13 from the free throw line. Ogallala was 2 out of 6.
Oof.
So, yeah, the game maybe won at the free throw line yesterday. 57-45 was the final score. Doniphan Trumbull wins over Ogallala, so the Cardinals moving on. Omaha Concordia, they picked up a win yesterday over Sydney by a score of 49-45. So those two teams will play at 10:45 tomorrow morning at Pinnacle Bank Arena. The other games in Class C1, Lincoln Lutheran blasted Fillmore Central 64-26. And Ashland Greenwood beat Cozad yesterday by a score of 60-45. Class A, they also played their opening round games yesterday. We might as well recap the state tournament here while we've got a chance. Papillion La Vista South, they beat Papillion La Vista 76-58. Millard North, winners over Bellevue West 62-44. Omaha Westside, they blew out Lincoln Southwest yesterday 87-49. And it was Lincoln Southwest over Lincoln North Star, 58-57. Class D1 first-round results yesterday. Johnson Brock 73, Elmwood Murdoch 32. McCool Junction beat Elm Creek 65-34. Howells Dodge winners over Dundee County Stratton 54-40. And Bancroft Rosalie got by North Platte St. Pat's 59-53. First-round games in classes B, C2, and D2 will take place today. Exeter Milligan Friend will be playing Summerland at 10:45 this morning at the Devaney Center. And Silver Lake will take on The number 1 seed St. Mary's in Class D2. That will be at 9 o'clock this morning at Pinnacle Bank Arena. So that's a recap on the first day of the Boys State High School basketball tournament down in Lincoln.
What was for lunch yesterday?
Pizza.
Yep. Figured.
Gino.
It's in the hospitality suite,
Yep.
Gino.
He found it. He found it.
So
I began to smell the pizza oozing
Yep.
from the media room, and I walked in, and Gino already had his fingers in the pizza.
Already had his slice.
Not just a slice.
Oh, no.
Gino, he goes for 3 or 4 slices.
Keeping plates.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pizza, and you might know Gino found the food. He was one of the first to dive into the pizza yesterday.
Oh, I'm sure.
The entire state of Nebraska, everybody that was down there covering basketball, Gino was at the front of the line.
Gino just walks straight through.
Yeah, we got lunch yesterday. So
Oh, that's good.
the Big Ten tournament is going on.
Yeah.
Nobody really cares around here because Nebraska is not in. Mm-hmm. But for the rest of the Big Ten, got started yesterday. Northwestern beat Minnesota 72-64. Iowa defeated Ohio State 77-70. USC outscored Rutgers 97-89. That was in 2 overtimes. So today, Indiana will play Oregon at 11, followed by Wisconsin against Northwestern. The 5:30 game will have Illinois against Iowa, followed by Purdue against USC. All the games today on BTN. Solid thing today, just before we went on here. Nebraska, they are on the bubble of even making the NIT.
Yeah. Apparently headed for the Vegas Diamond Classic or whatever the hell it's called.
What is this new tournament? I wouldn't even play in that thing.
It's like the NIT to the NIT.
Yeah, it's the
NIT squared.
So you got 68 teams.
Yes.
In the NCAA bracket. Mm-hmm. Then you've got how many in the NIT? 32.
Hell, I think 32.
So 32.
Yep.
So you're at 68. You're at 32. That's 100 teams right there.
100 out of the,
139 is 139, 140.
There isn't football. I think there's a lot more in basketball.
So there's got to be.
You factor in all the different mid-majors
there's
for
gotta
basketball.
Be.
There's a crap ton. 170-something, I think, is the correct answer.
All right. So you got 100 teams in the first 2. So, and I saw Nebraska would be like a number 1 seed in this 3rd tier.
Yes.
So we're the 101st best team in the nation, and we're going to be.
We're 101. We're 101.
God, would you even play in that thing? I know it's a new tournament, but it's the 3rd tier. It'd be almost embarrassing to play in that tournament, wouldn't it?
A little bit, I guess. If you're the team and you want more time with the guys and go out and play one more time, I think from Fred's perspective, you ended the season on this just disastrous slide, and whatever you can do to reverse course and reverse the memory of that, get that taste out of your system before you head into the offseason, I think is a good thing. And let's be clear, any additional exposure, whether it's for a participation ribbon at a county fair, or whether it's like a schoolyard day, and you get one of those purple ribbons for participating, you go out there because you got eyeballs on it, right? And any exposure is better than the exposure we currently have, which is us ending on a 5-game losing streak and social media calling for his head.
Would there be eyes on this tournament? Absolutely not. No one would even know this tournament's even going on.
According to Google, according to Shane, there are 352 NCAA D1 teams. That's a crap ton. I think that's...
So we'd be number 101.
Yeah, top 3rd.
Out of 300.
Out of 300.
I don't know if I would play in that tournament or not. I get your point.
Yep.
I get your point. You want to maybe build something after a disastrous end. Mm-hmm. But do the guys, I guess I leave it up to the team.
Yeah, you have a team meeting.
You have a team meeting. Said, do we want to play, guys, or do we want to just end it right here? And for the most part, I think the guys that say, yeah, let's go out and play.
Let's go out and play. That's what we came here to do. Let's go out and play.
I think it'd be embarrassing.
Oh, it's massively embarrassing. But
Yeah.
so is ending this season on a 5-game slide. So is starting off like looking at the score against Penn State and being down 22-2. All that's really embarrassing. All that happened this season. So we might as well do something to rectify it.
All right, so we'll know after Sunday.
I don't think we're in an IT team. I'm
God, you would
fully
think.
on board.
You would think. Of course, we didn't make the Big Ten Conference tournament.
15 teams makes the Big Ten Conference tournament, and we were not among them.
And maybe we're not an NIT team.
That doesn't scream NIT National Invitation Tournament to me.
God, we're not even an NIT team.
We'll be in the participation ribbon.
Have we stooped that low?
Yeah, but I mean, there's been
You
years
and I were talking on this show not
9
long
and 10
ago.
seed.
8, 9, 10 seed.
Yep.
And now we're playing in a tournament nobody knows about.
Well, let's be really clear. Like previously in college basketball, there's never been this much attention to these people that formulate and tabulate and have social media to post their formulations and tabulations. These nerds have probably existed for way too long, but they never got airtime. And so when we were covering college basketball before, it wasn't like we were seeing each and every week in the middle of freaking January, oh, let's take a look at the tournament watch. You know, we had things like RPI ratings and we had things like strength of schedule, but never before have like they posted so many updates on how they
Brackets.
feel the state tournament is going to play out. And let's be clear, the guy might not even be right. It's a selection committee. It's still a selection committee. It's not a tabulated formula that they cook up and throw up on social media. I don't know. But no, I don't think it's stooping too low. I think it's the reality that we are in a very competitive Big Ten conference. And quite frankly, when we had to finish and win games, we couldn't do it. We sat on 17 wins for the last 6 games and couldn't get to 20. All we had to do was win half. I told you on the show, we got to win 20 games. We got 17.
Didn't get in.
That knocks you out of the NIT. That knocks you into...
Oh, I wouldn't necessarily say 20 wins would be the breaking point to the NIT, because when the NIT field is announced, you're going to see teams that don't have 20 wins.
Sure.
In fact, you'll have some teams in there that are 19 and 12. But it's the way that Nebraska finished the season, I think, is going to keep them out. Not that we didn't get 20 wins. It's just the way that we finished the season. Well, a real downer.
You're on a selection committee. You don't want to take a team that's currently going on a nosedive. You know, you're not going to be like, hey, that's a team that we really want in this tournament.
So instead, they would look to somebody that had a 17 and 12 record that maybe won their 5 out of their last 6 games and maybe dropped a game in their conference tournament. That would be more ideal to take as far as the selection would be for the NIT.
It also speaks to the parity, man. It speaks to the parity of Division I basketball, which has only continued to increase as the seasons have gone along. You know, you flash back 4 years ago when we saw a 16 seed take down a 1 with University of Maryland Baltimore College over Virginia, right? Like that would have been laughable even 10 years ago. But now in this day and age in college basketball and the parity that these 352 teams apparently have, we're seeing it more and more. Anybody can get anybody on any given day. And so a 6-game win streak when we were talking about, or a 6-game losing streak, when we were talking about being an 8 and 9 seed. And I told you that's going to be enough to not only take us out of the conversation for the tournament, that's going to be enough to take us out of the conversation for everything, for anything, for any kind of postseason. I'm shocked as hell we're even being discussed for the 3rd tier.
Oh, God, we got to be one of the top 150 teams in, aren't we?
Apparently, according to experts.
All right. Chime in. If Nebraska has a chance to play in this tournament, should we play? I don't even know what's the name of this thing.
Here's how unknown this thing is. Like, I don't even know what the name is.
I saw it this morning. It's a College of something stars. I don't know.
It's in Vegas, isn't it?
I think it's in Vegas, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'd go just to if I was.
Yeah,
a player,
I was
I'd
gonna
go
say.
just to go to Vegas.
Yeah, if you're taking a team vote, hell yeah, they're going to go to Vegas.
Let's go.
See, I don't even know the name of this third tier. It used to be called something else. I don't even know. We'll have to Google that and find that out.
Google what is lower than the NIT.
Yeah. I just saw it this morning.
What is lower than the NIT but better than staying at home?
I saw that, and they had Nebraska as one of the number one seeds.
Yep.
So, anyway, chime in if you'd like. 402-834-1330 is our telephone number. 402-834-1330. Leave us a message on one of the social media sites. Should Nebraska play in the postseason?
Yes or no?
Despite our lackluster performance at the end of the season, should we belabor the point or just end the season? Should we just end it right now? Put the sneakers back in the locker room and we'll just call it a year.
Well, hell, if we don't end the season, we're going to get a couple more Hoiberg cuts to play.
Maybe.
I hear from Freddie Boy for a few more
Maybe
times.
if anybody covers the damn thing out in Vegas. If you're a sports guy, you got the NCAAs to worry about.
Uh-huh.
The NITs to worry about. Oh, by the way, if we don't have anything to do today, Tyson, we're going to ship you out and you're going to cover this tournament that nobody knows about.
The College Basketball Crown.
Oh, that's
in
it.
Vegas.
That's it. It's going to be in Vegas, right? All of it? The entire tournament?
We've got Extreme Sports 3. I'll go and cover the damn thing.
Put games over there. Extreme Sports 3.
I'll go cover it in Vegas.
There's got to be some great teams in that place.
I'll have to have a little allowance.
Bookkeeper will not. No. The bookkeeper. Oh, we're going to send Tyson to Vegas to cover this. What's it called again?
Hold on. College Basketball Crown.
Yeah, we're going to send you out there with a company credit card.
Amber says, load up the bus. Let's all go.
I wouldn't go to that thing. You
would if it's in Vegas. You would.
If it was in Vegas.
It's in Vegas. You would.
Well, there'd be games all day long. What the hell are we going to do?
Well, I could think of a lot of things to do in Vegas.
Oh, jeez. It's probably out.
Crown Basketball. No, the College Basketball Crown.
In Vegas. That's the third tier. And we're the number one seed. We have
The
a chance.
CBC.
We're going to be a chance to be the number one seed in that tournament. Can't wait.
It's exciting.
7:23, waking up with Mike and Tyson here this morning. Huddle up on Extreme Sports.
It's time for a morning news update on Extreme Sports.
Well, another year and another chat about a government shutdown. All three Nebraska congressmen voted to approve a stopgap measure that would avoid a government shutdown. If it passes the Senate, the bill will prevent a government shutdown on Friday and fund the federal government through September 30th. There's one issue, however. Senate Democrats have said they won't support the funding bill, leaving it uncertain whether Congress can avert a shutdown before Friday night's deadline. The government will shut down at the end of Friday without a new funding law, and with Republicans only controlling 53 Senate seats and needing 60 votes to defeat a filibuster, time is quickly running out. Meanwhile, at the state capitol yesterday, a constitutional amendment to end inheritance taxes in Nebraska was discussed. The constitutional amendment would prohibit the state and political subdivisions from levying the inheritance tax if passed by the legislature and approved by Nebraska voters, because it is a constitutional amendment. Nebraska is one of 5 states with inheritance taxes and the only state where it's collected exclusively by counties. Senator Bob Hallstrom said ending the tax would make the state more competitive, particularly with retirees. And also at the state capitol, Governor Jim Pillen has signed into law a bipartisan bill to establish a controllable electronic record fraud prevention act. This all helps combat fraud and protect users of cryptocurrency at kiosks and ATMs. It is now 7:25. With that, Mike, we'll head over to the East Side Studios. Lots to get to in sports. What's going on?
Well, the Nebraska baseball team completed its midweek sweep of Wichita State with a 5-4 win last night at Hawks Field in Lincoln. Nebraska scored 5 runs on 5 hits, while Wichita State totaled 4 runs on 9 base hits. Gabe Swanson was 1 for 4 at the plate with 2 RBIs. Max Butenbach had a solo home run. T.J. Coates pitched 2 innings and allowed 2 runs on 2 hits with 3 strikeouts and a pair of walks. Nebraska now 7-8 on the season. They'll return to Big Ten play this weekend as Nebraska will journey to Los Angeles for a 3-game series at UCLA. First pitch will be Friday at 7. Hastings College softball team will begin conference play today with a doubleheader against Briar Cliff out at the Smith Complex. Broncos are 10-8 on the season. Chargers are 5-9. First pitch will be at 4 this afternoon. And we'll have the action here on Extreme Sports, beginning with the pregame show at 3:45. The Nebraska Kearney softball team split a doubleheader with Shadrach State yesterday. Lopers won the first game 5-3, but dropped the nightcap 3-2. UNK now 10-12 on the season, and will play in the MIAA and SIC crossover tournament this weekend in Joplin, Missouri, and Pittsburgh, Kansas. Doniphan Trumbull boys basketball team picked up their first state tournament win since 2014 yesterday with a 57-45 win over Ogallala. Jack Poppy scored 23 points for the Cardinals. Parker Volk had 20. Doniphan Trumbull is now 19-6 on the season. They'll play Omaha Concordia in the semifinals tomorrow morning at 10:45 at Pinnacle Bank Arena. Omaha Concordia beat Sydney yesterday 49-45. Other games in Class C1, Lincoln Lutheran blasted Fillmore Central 64-26, and Ashland Greenwood beat Cozad by the score of 60-45. Winners in Class A were Papillion, La Vista South, Millard North, Omaha Westside, and Lincoln Southeast. Winners in Class D1 were Johnson Brock, McCool Junction, Howells Dodge, and Bancroft Rosalie. First round games in classes B, C2, and D2 will be played today. 7:28 now on Extreme Sports.
It's time for a morning weather update on Extreme Sports with Chief Meteorologist Tim Jones.
Sunny, warm, and a whole bunch of wind on this Thursday. Hey, everybody, Tim Jones, Nebraska Weather TV. A high of 78 on this Thursday. We'll have southerly winds 5 to 10, increasing to 15 to 20 miles per hour. Could see some gusts up in the 30-mile-per-hour range. Overnight tonight, a few clouds. Overnight low of 49 degrees. Friday, that big storm approaches the region. We'll see wind once again with gusts up to about 45 miles per hour. A high of 68. Chance for rain as well.
Right now, as you wake up, get going this morning, we've got south winds at 4 miles per hour. It's partly cloudy, 39 in Hastings at Extreme Sports.
Accessible and affordable holistic care is just around the corner at Bamboo Spa and Wellness Center, located at 208 South Burlington, Suite 101 in Hastings. Experience soothing massages, rejuvenating scalp treatments, and advanced Glow 2 facials, along with ozone therapy and frequency healing. Join us for our spring open house on March 29th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Enjoy free tours, 20% off all bookings, exciting giveaways, and a chance to win a $100 gift card for the first 30 product purchases. Become a member for 24-hour access to amenities like the infrared sauna, hydro massage, and cryo lounge, plus discounts on services and products. Visit us on Facebook to learn more. Bamboo Spa and Wellness Center. Truly holistic care designed for you.
Connet Auto Care is the trusted name in automotive repair and maintenance services in Hastings. We're a gold-certified Napa Auto Care Center. Our ASE-certified technicians have the Blue Seal of Excellence, receive continuous training, and are committed to providing the best service your vehicle can get. Whether it's preventative maintenance, major repairs, or just an oil change, Connet Auto Care is here for you.
Hamilton has been providing IT solutions for businesses across the state of Nebraska for more than 3 decades. We know that Nebraska businesses are a driving force of support for the communities in which we live and work. We keep them connected and protected by delivering cybersecurity, hosted phones, and managed IT. We are grateful to be part of our Nebraska communities and to support their technology needs.
More information at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Get ready, race fans. Cam Raceway is teaming up with Extreme Sports for an electrifying season of high-speed, dirt-slinging, adrenaline-pumping action. Every race night, we're bringing you live video coverage straight from the track, so you won't miss a single lap, pass, or photo finish. From non-wing warriors to cage karts, flat karts, and the A-class wing beasts, we've got it all. There's nothing like the roar of the engines, the smell of burning rubber, and the rush of dirt flying action right in front of you. So get to the track and experience it live. But if you can't make it, don't sweat. Extreme Sports has you covered. Buckle up, because this season is going to be fast, fierce, and unforgettable. Make sure you like and follow Extreme Sports on Facebook to get all the latest updates, and we will see you at the track.
Yeah, I can't wait for the smell of burning rubber. 7:32. Mike Will, Tyson and Vronick here for Extreme Sports. Huddle up for a Thursday, the 13th day of the month here. We were talking about free agency and the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback situation.
Yeah,
evidently, the Steelers don't have a quarterback right now under contract.
Oops.
Yeah, whoops. We forgot something. You're working in the front office. Hey, wait. We don't have a quarterback. They have nobody under contract right now with the Steelers.
Trade up and draft.
Well, they're going to be a player for something.
Trade up and go get yourself a player.
Aaron Rodgers.
They picked up DK Metcalf yesterday.
Yeah, but that
didn't do them damn bit of good if they can't have anybody to throw the ball to him.
Who's going to throw the ball to him?
Uh-oh.
They don't have a quarterback under contract for the Steelers.
Oh, what a mess. Eric Williams, by the way, chiming in on our discussion on the NIT and the Crown Classic.
Yeah.
Saying the NIT and the Crown, to me, are no different than the Pinstripe Bowl. However, one is celebrated and the other two, for the most part, are mocked. And I don't know, yes, they are, because in college football, 12 teams make the playoffs.
Yeah,
12 teams make the postseason.
The rest of those bowl games are just for show.
And the rest of the bowl games are for show.
Yep.
In the NCAA basketball world, 68 teams make the postseason field. 68, not 12. And then yeah, your other two do get mocked a lot because it's like the 69th through 100th best team, and then 101 through 132.
Is that 32 teams in that Crown tournament?
I don't know.
Probably
I didn't
so.
look at it that closely.
You wouldn't, yeah. So you got the 68 in the NCAA.
Yep.
32 in the not-in tournament.
In the not-in tournament.
The NIT. Then you've got the Crown. God, I can't wait for that one.
Crappy basketball.
Chip
CB.
off at the Crown.
Crown Classic.
So the Steelers don't have a quarterback. Aaron Rodgers should be hitting there. Chief. How's that Chief going to start the year with Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback?
Oh, boy.
Can he get the ball to Metcalf?
Can he withstand more than 13 seconds of playing time before an injury?
Because the Steelers don't have an offensive line?
I think they'll be all right.
They're going to be all right? They're going to protect him?
He takes one shot, man. I mean, no offense, he's aging. The body, trust me, as somebody who's also aging, the body takes less and less impact
to
have an injury.
Yeah, you can't even play in the Saints alumni basketball tournament. Your body's so beat up.
I sneeze and I blow out a rib cage, man.
Anyway.
Ever done that? Sneeze and throw out your back? It's awful. God, getting 40 sucks, man. Who signed up for this crap?
Matt Rule, he had his press conference getting ready for a spring football practice. We heard a lot from him yesterday. I got a couple of more things we'll pass along to you today.
Sure.
he says spring football practice is going to be important, although we're not going to have a spring game, so to speak, at the end of this thing. But he says the spring will be important for not only the players, but also for the new coaches that have been brought on staff for this year.
Having some guys come in, having obviously Eckler come in with a fresh set of eyes, looking at guys, having Snow there now. With a fresh set of eyes, Addison coming in with a fresh set of eyes. Sometimes maybe you're a guy that you're kind of down the depth chart at your position, and someone comes in and sees something in you that the previous guy didn't see, and so I think that gives a lot of guys opportunities. Terry and Phil coming in with the defensive line and outside backers. Just again a different group of people. So. I think it'll be really, really important this spring. The off season's been really important, and the meetings. At the end of the day, as you have a more talented roster, you really can't waste a day. And I think our roster's, the best it's been. I think the guys are developed, and so they have to, take advantage of the opportunities they get.
And the coach says there's a lot to do this spring.
There's a lot of people talking about just go to OTAs and don't have spring football. I think that would be a complete and total mistake. There's a lot of players here that don't know how to properly tackle at this level, don't know how to block at this level. And I remind our coaches, because several of them have been in the NFL, you coach in the NFL, you train players in college, you're teaching them, you're training them how to do it. And so sometimes you're taking players from other schools who've been trained for a couple of years and training them our way. So there's a lot that needs to be done. So it'll be a good physical, hard-nosed spring. But the only real difference being just what sort of the outside world sees in that spring game.
And we also talked about the backup quarterback position behind Dylan Raiola, who's expected to be the starter for the second year. Now, we've got two freshman quarterbacks that are coming in addition to Jalen Gramstad. Jalen Gramstad played at Northwestern College over in Orange City, Iowa. He played in the Great Plains Athletic Conference. He decided to transfer for his remaining years in college football to Nebraska. And now we see Jalen Gramstad as the backup quarterback right now to Dylan Raiola. Wow. And the coach says that Jalen is providing some good support for Dylan Raiola.
Dylan's one of those guys that if the play ever comes in called wrong, he knows it so well he can fix it. And where sometimes some of the other guys are like Ron Burgundy, they're going to say whatever comes up. And Gramstad's a lot like Dylan. You know what I mean? Like those two guys. Kind of reminds me like in the NFL when you have like a really good young quarterback and you bring in a veteran backup behind him who's accelerating, like, hey, this is how we study. Not that Jalen's necessarily teaching Dylan what to do, but you can see them, they jive off each other, right? They vibe off each other. And great thing about Jalen is the ball's going to go where it's supposed to go. I mean, he's absolutely a winner. Wanted him to come back. We wanted him to come back. So I feel very confident with him. And then, basically we have two freshmen. And so they have to get some reps and show us what they can do. And but I do feel good about what they've shown so far. But I think the spring will be huge for us.
All right, so that's Matt Rule again. Some more comments from his press conference the other day as the Huskers get ready for spring football practice. I watched Jalen Gramstad for 3 years.
Run out of room on your stat sheet a couple times, I'm sure.
Yeah, this guy, he was good. Led Northwestern to a lot of wins, national championship. Completed a lot of passes. And he decides that he wants to transfer to Nebraska. And at that time, I kind of joked it off. I said, this guy will never see the field. Told a lot of people that I closely associate with. I said, this guy's never going to see the field in Nebraska. Well, guess what? Now we look up, and Jalen Gramstad's being mentioned as the backup to Dylan Raiola. He's just a snap away from taking some meaningful snaps for Nebraska. I think he got in last year in mop-up duty in one of those games.
Yep.
For a series or two.
Trying to remember which game it was, but
yeah,
UTEP, I think maybe.
But Jalen Gramstad right now, the backup. We'll see what the two freshman guys do at Nebraska. But Jalen Gramstad right behind Dylan Raiola on the depth chart.
A backup and a backup who's excelling. who's jiving with your starting quarterback, and a lot of times,
Oh, you want him to jive?
yeah, you don't see that a lot with football teams where the 1 and 2 are working together and getting along, because a lot of it's it's competition and it's fierce, and you want to be the guy, right? And so you certainly wouldn't be doing anything to aid your starter. But this guy's got the right mentality in the locker room, sounds like, and it sounds like it's providing a lot of mentorship in a lot of ways, just not in terms of maybe skills or abilities, but game scenarios. I mean, we still got to remember that Raiola's young, and there's a lot of times where it's like, hey, you throw a pick, and you need to get that confidence right back up there and get that immediately, flush that out of your mind, and in a lot of ways, I think Ramstad's kind of able to walk him through that process, and so yeah, excited to see what the future holds for him.
We'll see what spring ball holds. Maybe one of the freshman guys
Sure.
will step up. So we'll see what happens. Spring football going to be starting for the Huskers. You mentioned free agency. One other guy we didn't mention, we were in our discussion earlier, Mac Jones. Remember him?
Yeah.
Mac Jones. He has signed on a 2-year contract with the San Francisco 49ers worth about $7 million. He appeared in 10 games last season for Jacksonville, including 7 starts in place of injured Trevor Lawrence. During his time on the field, he completed 65% of his passes for 1,672 yards and 8 touchdowns to go along with 8 interceptions. And the Jags were 2-5 in his starts, averaging 15 points per game.
There you go.
So Mac Jones, for my San Francisco 49er fans that are in the lobby here today, Mac Jones is now on your roster along with Purdy if they get him signed.
Slowly building that roster back up after the decimation. Boy, and you looked at the names and the faces, man. I mean, they did. They went through an absolute fire sale, and they're going to completely try to turn things over. And kind of like what we heard from Baker yesterday, and we was talking about the way last season ended for him, and he said he was just going to essentially just get off to a clean slate, bring in 25 new players and clean house a little bit. And I think that's what we're seeing in San Fran right now. They're obviously not excited about the trajectory or the way that team's going, so they're blowing it up and rebuilding.
So don't expect San Francisco to be good this year?
I don't know. I mean,
you get rid of all those guys. You're starting over, and you can't do a complete rebuild in the National Football League in 1 year, can you?
I think you can it depends.
What team has done that recently?
What team has rebuilt recently and completely restructured their entire...
Have a fire sale, like San Francisco did in the last month.
It only took Philly like 2 years.
Yeah.
And so you have a year where you're going to take some lumps. You're going to finish around 500. Washington's a team that comes to mind. They when they cleaned house and they brought in a rookie, Jaden Daniels, and everyone said, "Oh no, he's not going to be able to do the thing." And God dang, near led him to the Super Bowl. But you could rebuild quickly. And it's the NFL, and you get the right pieces in play in free agency, and you make all the right moves, bring in the right guys, draft some skill players around it, take a year where you're 500, and then next thing you know, you're in the playoffs. Houston, a team that comes to mind that blew up the franchise, and then recently have got something going for them. You can do it. I don't know if they're going to be the Super Bowl contender.
Yeah, the draft is going to be very important for them.
But yeah, put San Francisco on your map of teams to keep an eye on. As not this season moves forward, but I think into next season. I think they're building for 2027.
Mac Jones is now on your roster.
I don't know if he stays there, but
for 2 years he is.
There you go.
You mentioned Cooper Kupp. He's been released by the Rams just a few days after the team agreed to sign 6-time Pro Bowl wide receiver Davante Adams to a 2-year deal. 12 games last year. Cooper had 67 catches, 710 yards, 6 touchdowns. He's been kind of the fantasy football hero.
When healthy.
Yeah, when healthy, that's the key. He's always sat out some games. In his career, he's got over 7,700 receiving yards, 58 total touchdowns. But yeah, he's been banged up, especially the past couple of years.
He's a PPR goldmine. He's a point per reception, as we call it, PPR, fantasy football chat. He's a PPR goldmine because he comes out of the slot and he finds some space. He does a great job about being able to kind of break off the route if it's not there and create his own space. And oftentimes quarterback finds him. I mean, and it's going to be, these death by 1,000 cuts, 5 yards, 6 yards, 7-yard receptions across the middle. And so, yeah, I think Coop's a welcome addition to any team.
He'll sign on someplace.
Come to Buffalo. Come to Buffalo. We've reloaded.
Do you need any more wide receivers?
Yeah, we always need more wide receivers.
You can't have enough.
Can't have enough in that room. Like I said, injuries are the big factor. You lose one guy, and your entire offense takes a reshape. So the more in that room, the better.
402-834-1330 is our telephone number. If you'd like to join us here today, anything on your mind, sports related or not, give us a call. Love to chat with you.
Jets, I guess. Jets would be a welcome landing spot.
Any player that's looking to continue their NFL career and is running out of options, always go to the Jets. Man. There's always an opening on the Jets.
I'm going to be very curious to see what the Jets do. I know we have Jets fans, and I love to mock the Jets, but I'm genuinely curious to watch their offseason unfold because I think they're making the right moves, at least as of right now. I said, I've been a Field supporter for years. I think he could be a dominant quarterback in the right offensive system with the right players around him. And you throw in a name like Cooper Kupp, and with their running game, and if they can draft a couple offensive linemen as opposed to the most popular guy in the New York media and build a base, that could be a good football team.
Well, their defense is good. The defense has been good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So who knows?
They're just missing some key components to fix a leaky offensive line and get a few skill players out there that aren't prima donnas like Devontae Adams, and hell, I think you're in business.
7:48 here this morning on this Thursday. As I was mentioning, you can chime in or leave us a message on one of the social media sites as well. We've got softball action coming up today. I was just listening to Tim's forecast he gave us at the bottom of the hour. It's going to be a windy day for you out at the Smith Complex. It's like a hurricane out there anyway, and when the winds are blowing at 30 to 40 miles per hour, I think you said they were going to blow out of the south, so wind will be blowing in for you today.
Pitcher's duel.
Yeah, the softball might get out of the infield, maybe.
And it's a tricky park. And you've done games there. I've done games there at least from the high school perspective. This is our first look at college softball, and I'm looking forward to it, really. But it's tricky because we sit up high, and you could see a ball off the bat, right? And you just know by its trajectory, like, oh, this one's got a chance to go yard. And so you get the hype up in your voice. And, long fly ball, center field. And next thing you know, that baby gets caught up in the wind stream. And Baker was right yesterday when he was talking about it. He goes, long fly balls that would be bombs get maybe into shallow center field.
Yeah, and you're embarrassed because you think you're going to blow one out, and, the ball is caught right behind the bag at second base.
And so it's got to be a real focus on like level swings and line drives and not getting one to caught up in the jet stream, so to speak. But when you do have pop flies, I mean, that's a challenge defensively too. Defensively, you're trying to track this thing and you think you got it, and next thing you know, the wind blows it 200 feet from where you're initially tracking it, and it drops in for an innocent single. I mean, you can't even call those errors because the defense plays it right, and then the wind takes it, and it's like, oh, crap.
So the wind's going to be blowing out of the south today against the Briar Cliff. Then tomorrow, winds gusting to 40 to 50 miles per hour, I think Tim said, out of the north, which means it'll be blowing out tomorrow. And we play Northwestern tomorrow morning at 10-12. Northwestern, one of the best teams in the conference. And their wins going to be blowing out. That's going to look like a football score.
Oh, yeah.
Tomorrow. Tomorrow's doubleheader.
And I think HC's offense is good enough to hit with them. It's just going to be a matter of don't provide extra base runners. You can't be walking batters because it could turn into a
32-23 game.
Yeah, it could turn into a slow pitch softball game. The way the ball goes out. So yeah,
that's what's on tap today. We've got the softball action beginning at 3:45 this afternoon. Hastings and Briar Cliff as we begin our debut season for Hastings College softball, and then they'll turn right back around and play again tomorrow morning at 10 and noon. Doubleheader against Northwestern. You're going to have to beat feet out of here. 8 o'clock.
There you
have
go.
to beat feet out to the complex tomorrow.
That's the game plan. I'll have everything ready to roll, and
you better take a shower before the show starts tomorrow.
I have enough time trying to just roll out of bed and get here in the morning.
Tomorrow,
let alone schedule a shower.
You're going to be on a tight schedule. Just don't sit beside you then tomorrow, huh? If you're not going to take a shower,
I'll
sneak one in.
I'll sneak one in. Chiefs could pick him up, given Worthy's uncertainty, talking about Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
And Cody says, Russ, Watson, and Pickett pray for Arch Manning. Talking about some players here.
Maybe some players to go to Pittsburgh.
Yep.
Chiefs picking up Cooper Kupp. Yeah, who knows about our receiving core? We can keep them out of jail. Keep them out of jail, they'll be back.
I wasn't going to say it, but you said it.
I know I did. I can say it. It's my team. I know that they've had problems here. Worthy he got cleared of those charges.
Problems is an understatement.
Worthy was charged like last Friday, and by Sunday the charges were dropped.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think he's all right. He'll be out there. Anyway, 7:52, waking up with Mike and Tyson here this morning. It's Huddle Up on Extreme Sports.
It's time for a morning news update on Extreme Sports.
Well, today's top story takes us down to Washington, D.C., where all the chatter is on the uncertainty of another potential government shutdown. This after all three Nebraska congressmen voted to approve a stopgap measure that would avoid a government shutdown. And if it passes in the Senate, the bill would prevent the shutdown on Friday and fund the federal government through September 30th. However, they've hit a roadblock because Senate Democrats have vowed that they will not support the funding bill, leaving it uncertain whether Congress can avert a shutdown before Friday night's deadline. The government will shut down at the end of Friday without a new funding law, and with Republicans only controlling 53 Senate seats and needing 60 to overcome a filibuster, lots of uncertainty in time running out quickly. Meanwhile, at the state capitol yesterday, a constitutional amendment to end the inheritance taxes in Nebraska was discussed. The constitutional amendment would prohibit the state and political subdivisions from levying the inheritance tax if it's passed by the legislature and then approved by Nebraska voters. Nebraska, one of 5 states with inheritance tax, the only state where it is collected exclusively by counties. Senator Bob Hallstrom said ending the tax could make the state more competitive, particularly with retirees. And Governor Jim Pillen also signed into law a bipartisan law enforcement-supported legislation that establishes a controllable electronic record fraud prevention, helping combat fraud and protect users of cryptocurrency with kiosks and ATMs. It is now 7:54, coming up on 5 minutes till 8 o'clock. Mike, we'll swing things back your way. What's going on in sports?
Nebraska baseball team completing its midweek sweep of Wichita State, 5-4 win over the Shockers last night. The Huskers now 7-8 on the season. They'll play at UCLA this weekend. Hastings College softball team will begin conference play today with a doubleheader against Briar Cliff out the Smith Complex. Action gets underway at 4. We'll have the games here on Extreme Sports, beginning with a pregame at about 3:45 this afternoon. The Nebraska Kearney softball team splitting a doubleheader with Chadron State yesterday Lopers winning the first game 5-3, but dropped the nightcap 3-2. UNK now 10-12 on the season. They'll play in the MIAA NSIC crossover tournament coming up this weekend in Joplin, Missouri, and Pittsburgh, Kansas. Doniphan Trumbull boys basketball team picked up their first state tournament win since 2014 yesterday. They beat second-seeded Ogallala 57-45. Jack Poppy, 23 points for the Cardinals. Parker Volk had 20. Doniphan Trumbull now 19-6 on the season. They'll play Omaha Concordia in the semifinals tomorrow morning at 10:45 at PBA. Omaha Concordia beat Sydney yesterday 49-45. Also in Class C1, Lincoln Lutheran over Fillmore Central 64-26, and Ashland Greenwood beat Cozad 60-45. Winners in Class A yesterday, Papillion La Vista South, Millard North, Omaha West Side, and Lincoln Southeast. Winners in Class D1 were Johnson Brock, McCool Junction, Howells Dodge, and Bancroft Rosalie. First round games in Classes B, C2, and D2 will be played today.
It's time for a morning weather update on Extreme Sports with Chief Meteorologist Tim Jones.
Sunny, warm, and a whole bunch of wind on this Thursday. Hey, everybody, Tim Jones, Nebraska Weather TV. A high of 78 on this Thursday. We'll have southerly winds 5 to 10, increasing to 15 to 20 miles per hour. Could see some gusts up in the 30-mile-per-hour range. Overnight tonight, a few clouds. Overnight low of 49 degrees. Friday, that big storm approaches the region. We'll see wind once again with gusts up to about 45 miles per hour. A high of 68. Chance for rain as well.
South winds this morning at 4. Partly cloudy, it's 39 in Hastings at Extreme Sports.
Accessible and affordable holistic care is just around the corner at Bamboo Spa and Wellness Center, located at 208 South Burlington, Suite 101 in Hastings. Experience soothing massages, rejuvenating scalp treatments, and Advanced Glow 2 facials, along with ozone therapy and frequency healing. Join us for our spring open house on March 29th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Enjoy free tours, 20% off all bookings, exciting giveaways, and a chance to win a $100 gift card for the first 30 product purchases. Become a member for 24-hour access to amenities like the infrared sauna, hydro massage, and cryo lounge, plus discounts on services and products. Visit us on Facebook to learn more. Bamboo Spa and Wellness Center. Truly holistic care designed for you.
I'm John Butler, Funeral Director and owner at Livingston Butler Volland Funeral Home and Cremation Center in Hastings.
And I'm Nikki Butler, the Advanced Funeral Planning Specialist. Whether you choose a traditional service, cremation, or a unique memorial service, our experienced staff is here to help guide you through every step. Visit us at lbvfh.com to learn more about our services and how we can support you.
Livingston Butler Volland Funeral Home and Cremation Center. We are here when your need is greatest.
Extreme Sports has been bringing you the exclusive home of Hastings College Athletics, and we're just getting started. Thanks to our incredible sponsors and your support, Extreme Sports 2 has been a huge success. And now we're excited to announce the launch of Extreme Sports 3. With Extreme Sports 3, you'll get even more local sports coverage. Plus, 24/7 access to Sports by Line, where you'll hear the best in national sports talk. Whether it's Hastings College, high school action, or the latest from around the sports world, we've got it covered across all 3 streams. And don't forget, when we're not broadcasting games, join us weekday mornings from 7 to 8 a.m. for Huddle Up with Mike Will and Tyson Havronik. It's the perfect way to start your day with sports, news, weather, and great local interviews. So tune in, check out all 3 streams, and stay with us for even more sports coverage coming soon. Thank you to our sponsors for making it all possible, and to you, our listeners, for keeping Extreme Sports strong.
Hi, Mike Wells, Tyson and Veronica. It's a Thursday morning, the 13th day of March, as we kind of wrap things up here today. Talked a lot about NFL free agency on the show today and recap the first day of the Boys State High School basketball tournament in Lincoln. And action getting underway at 9 this morning at PBA and the Devaney Center. First round games in classes B, C2, and D2 going to be played today. And then we'll have the semifinals on the Friday with the championship games set for Saturday. So we'll have softball coming up later on today. Hastings College and Briar Cliff. It's our debut of Hastings College softball coverage as a partnership with this Extreme Sports, and we'll have our first game this afternoon with Briar Cliff and Hastings beginning at 4. Hastings and Northwestern tomorrow morning beginning at 10. Also going to have women's basketball tomorrow night with Hastings College playing the College of the Ozarks beginning at 5 tomorrow afternoon. We'll have that game for you as well here on the air. Plus, we'll bring you the second game, Huntington of Indiana going up against LSU Shreveport in the second ball game. And then the two winners will play on Saturday afternoon at 5 o'clock in the championship, so to speak. All right, to move on to Sioux City to the final side of the NAIA National Tournament. We'll have the game on Saturday as well. Hopefully Hastings will be in that game. Be a lot easier to do, wouldn't it?
I was going to say.
Yeah, it'd be a lot easier to do on Saturday if Hastings is in the finals.
That's pretty tough to get motivated for if Hastings College isn't in there. But 5 games in 2 days here on the network, and I guess if you count the doubleheader.
We got 2,
5,
4,
7, 9 games in 3 days.
3 days.
It's pretty hefty load here for the weekend, but this is what we do.
That's what we do here. 9. That's right. 9 games.
9 games in 3 days.
Who in the hell put this schedule together? I mean, when you cough, you break a rib cage.
Yeah. I can still call games.
We'll wheel you up.
I can still sit on my butt and call games.
We'll get you up there. And we'll have a softball beginning at 3:45 this afternoon with Hastings and Briar Cliff. So, anything else on the plate we need to clear?
I don't believe so. I think we've covered most of the
breakfast entrees.
Yeah,
we've covered the breakfast entrees for today.
Some bigger schools finally getting involved in some conference tournament play that we'll see throughout the day today. ACC, Big Ten. I guess one other thing, and we can get on this tomorrow a little bit more. Whoever designed the court for the Big 12 tournament, that's hideous.
I saw a lot of that.
That's the most hideous court I have ever seen in my life.
My wife asked me about it last night and said, well, they're playing in Indianapolis.
Big 12. Big 12. Over in KC.
Yeah.
Yeah. The court's awful.
Oh, the 12 tournament.
Big 12 court. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Big 10.
No, man. It's a freaking headache to sit there and watch it.
Where are they playing that at?
I think it's KC. I don't know. Whoever has a court that's designed with black and gray kaleidoscope-esque figures that go throughout the basketball court, it's awful. We can hype more on it tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll check into that today and get some more information on that. The Big 12 tournament.
Oh, God. It almost made me puke. It's gross.
I'll have to check that out.
Yep.
We'll discuss that tomorrow on the show. Plus, Jim Schleicher from Nebraska Thoroughbred Racing Network. He's on vacation somewhere.
What?
Yeah, he's on vacation somewhere. I think he went to Mexico. I hope his cell service works in Mexico. He didn't say he was going to take tomorrow off.
That's long distance dialing.
Yeah, I hope Schleicher knows how to use a cell phone to work in Mexico. I think that's where he's at.
Hopefully the time zones are similar.
Yeah, so he's scheduled to be on the show tomorrow. Now, I don't know if he's going to appear or not, but joining in tomorrow, we'll talk horses. Have yourself a good day. You'll be back later on today with the softball action beginning at 3:45 here on Extreme Sports. Have yourself a great day.
You've been listening to Huddle Up on Extreme Sports, Central Nebraska's new home for sports. Join us every weekday morning from 7 until 8 on Extreme Sports.
Again,